Welcome to Lifelines. I'm Larry Linehauser, and welcome to a Friday night in Bradenton, Florida. Tonight we're going to be riding along again with the Bradenton Police Department, and joining me now is Officer Jeff Cox. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, thank you.
Jeff, you're relatively new with the department, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so we're going to be questioning you through the course of the evening, and you're going to be kind of our host and guide throughout the city of Bradenton. We're going to run some calls with you, and we're going to discuss several things from your training to the nature of the calls you run to how you handle them and how the city of Bradenton trains in general.
Yes, sounds good. Let's see what we can get into.
Okay, so stay with us. Hopefully we'll get some good stuff. It's a Friday night, and we look forward to seeing you here. Stay tuned. All right, Jeff, can you kind of walk us through a whatever quote normal shift would be? When you come on duty, what is your responsibilities, and then basically what is your area of responsibility once you're on beat?
Well, when I come into work, usually I get here a little earlier. Come in, check our reports that we've done for the previous day or the prior day, and fix our reports. Basically, myself, I don't have a take-home card. We come in and let me grab this. We'll come in, get our cars, inspect our cars and everything before we go out on the road, and then basically go in service and patrol our zone. My zone right now is Zone 5 on the in District 2.
How many zones do you have altogether?
We have 6 zones right now. Basically.
And how many people do you have on duty at one time on a shift?
It all depends on what day of the week it is. Like today, for instance, we consider today like Fat Friday. We have quite a bit of people, in service throughout District 1 and District 2 throughout the city. Usually tends to be Zone 4 and Zone 5 has the most people working at one time, and what it allows you to do is really go out there and do a lot of officer initiated calls. Instead of just being dispatched, we can go out there and we're proactive instead of reactive, and instead of just taking calls from dispatch.
I know your chief is taking a lot of pride in sort of making some changes in the department itself and getting you guys more proactive. Does it seem to go across fairly positive with most everybody?
Yeah, yes sir, it does. It basically, that's, in my opinion, that's the way to to police everything, is to be proactive and to go out there and initiate calls. And you basically go out there and you try to find stuff instead of just going call to call. Basically, being proactive, in my mind, you're deterring. You're taking a lot of our calls we initiate are traffic stops or suspicious persons or trespassing, and usually most of the time calls like that we'll get of course drugs, narcotics, whether or not it goes any further than the arrest. Basically, you take that person off the road, you take that person off the street, and if you write a citation to them, it might damper their progress for the rest of the day or maybe the week.
On a night like tonight's Friday night, so obviously it's likely to be a little more busy than perhaps a Monday. Do you have K9 units on and all that, any those type of stuff? I know you have K9 units, but are they on tonight?
Yes, sir, they are. Basically, we have a screen here. What allows us to do is, I have it set up now to where we have people that are citywide, people that are in District 2. It shows us that, our King 117 is part of the K9. He's available. We also have another K9 unit that's roaming around. Not up on the screen. It's more of a specialized unit, but yeah, we tend to Friday and Saturdays, since it is so busy, we usually have a K9 on.
And is that both for drug sniffing as well as apprehension?
Yes, sir. Yeah, because I mean, you'll hear it hopefully throughout the night tonight. You know, we'll try to do some traffic stops. Other officers will do some traffic stops, and you know, immediately they'll either ask for K9 or our K9 officer will respond automatically. Because that's, you know, like I said, Fridays and Saturdays is where everybody likes to be proactive, and usually most of our traffic stops are probably going to be, you know, narcotic related.
41 now, just passing Davis.
246, go ahead. And we just got one call of juvenile troubles.
145.
All right.
Getting dispatched out to now. Myself and another officer.
So what are we responding to? Juvenile trouble
we're
here?
going to juvenile trouble. Several juveniles shooting BB guns at houses. So basically, myself and another officer were dispatched to it. Just going to check around the area of this location and see what we can find. You know, it's kind of like fishing when we get calls like this to check the area. You know, a lot of times we'll get there and, you know, the subjects will be gone. We'll check the area and there's really nothing we can do. You know, in this case, if they're shooting at houses, there might be property damage. You know, we have to afford the right to the victim or the homeowner to file a complaint or a report.
All right.
Did you get a description or anything?
The guy across the street was worried about these guys that have a BB gun. They're playing in the backyard, a little airsoft gun.
Oh, okay.
So I talked with the parents and told them, I says, you know, unless it's supervised, you guys better do that in the backyard. So
For no damage, just little rubber
not.
pellets.
He doesn't even want to meet with us, you know.
Okay.
So take care of the problem.
All right.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. You guys take it easy.
All right, I'll see you, man. Thanks.
Yeah, my son has airsoft guns. I'm very familiar with them.
Yeah, the airsoft guns, I tell you what. Yeah. 246. Juveniles were not shooting at the houses. Me, airsoft guns, no damage. The owner of the house is actually the neighbor's kids. He's just worried about the welfare and their safety. And we'll go on to the next one. It's 246. You send me that call also.
So Jeff, what are we responding to now?
We're going out to a hostage situation. It's at Manatee Glen's Clinical. The subject inside that's being hostile supposedly has a knife. That's basically all the information we've got on this call. Calls like this, you were asking about, you never know what you're going to roll up on, what's more unpredictable. When you get comments like these, so that's all you can get.
Zero the knife. Yeah. That leaves a lot of room for
yeah, it does.
For action.
You want us to be 6 hours first?
Just park away from the scene, that way we can walk up on it. 246.97.
So we're now on scene of the hostage situation, and Officer Cox is making an approach to where the subject is at.
They open up every door in here, they're locked.
I'm on the first entry to the building now. Head this way.
Let me go with taser.
How you doing, bud?
Looking for you, 10-4.
Sorry.
Yeah, 10-12, 10-4.
So they have successfully.
Yeah, that's our lieutenant got on the radio. Basically said that they're with the subject right now and everything's 10-4. So, you know, if this person's going to have a mental disorder or mental disability, yeah, it might be Baker Act. That way, you know, if it's a Baker Act, no charges can be filed against that person.
Jeff, we just finished up this call. Can you kind of recap for us and for the audience at home on what went down?
No problem. Basically got a call, hostage situation. All the information we had to begin with was the subject inside had a knife. Just like we were speaking earlier, you never know what's going to happen when you drive to a call. When we got to this one, the officers went inside and you know, our lieutenant basically and a couple other officers secured the scene and everything, and it turned out that the, I guess, offender or the subject in this did have a knife, but there was no hostage situation. She apparently was self-mutilating herself. Basically, the knife was secured, the officer secured the knife, she was secured, EMS responded, and they're now transporting the patient to have medical treatment. But it just, you know, like I said from earlier, it just goes to show, you come out for a hostage situation, there's no hostage situation. You know, some things are over dramatized, but that can still be a good thing.
Well, there's no such thing as a normal call, I guess, is the bottom line. You
No,
never
sir.
know what to expect.
We're going to 3304 16th Ave West on a suspicious vehicle. It's possibly the vehicle that was involved in our kidnapping from earlier today in the county.
To bring the audience up to speed, this is February 23rd, and this was the kidnapping of the young man at the school bus stop this morning. This may be potentially the vehicle involved in it.
For something like this, coming out, the vehicle's unoccupied at this time. So, like I said, it's an average response time. You want to get there quickly, but you want to get there safely. It's not a, in my opinion, it would be a high priority call, but
Safety first.
yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, you can't do much if you crash and you can't get there. You kind of, you know, there's this kind of call they're sending two officers to again. You know, you get in a crash, you don't get there on time, you leave another officer hanging out there.
Who made the call? Why, I mean, why would this? It's because someone thinks this, the person who called in thinks this may fit the description of the vehicle from today, or?
Yes, sir. It's coming up as from an anonymous caller. Basically, you know, the news has aired the description of the suspect and of the vehicle, and I mean, we've had quite a few traffic stops today, of course, of a red truck or a maroon truck with white stripes down the side, and
145, 1050.
you know, it could be the truck, could not be the truck, but it's always nice to get these calls and know that you got people out there in the public looking around for it, and they just, you know, just don't blow it off saying, oh, you know, the child was found.
Go ahead.
Well, the child's found, but we still have somebody out there.
Still have a bad guy on the
roaming
loose,
around.
though. Yeah. So if there's a subject at this residence, will he be interviewed just as a general procedure, or do you just, I mean, what would be the determining factor whether this could be something significant since we don't have a tag number per se?
Yeah, I mean, how it should be done is if this vehicle is at a residence, you know, you have to investigate it fully. You have to look into it as much as you can. You just can't go up there and kind of blow it off and say, okay, I ran the tag, it doesn't come back to anything. You know, tags can be switched out. But if, like I said, if it is parked in front of a house, it is occupied, it's best to try to go ahead and make contact with the person, gather as much information from the person as you can. You know, if nobody is home or you can't make contact with anybody, at least you've ran the tag. And you'll have, you know, you basically, once you run a tag, it'll come up on our screen giving the notes on it, and you'll know the registered owner. So, you know, that'll give you some more information that, you know, MSO or detectives, anybody else can look into. Go ahead, sir.
I think it's 22, I can check that.
26 things. And
So we just got stood down, so obviously it was...
yeah, the other officer,
Go to 42 real quick, sir.
the other officer checked everything out. Everything was fine. Vehicle checks out the residence, so you basically canceled me on that call.
While we're on break in between calls right now, I'm going to have a chance to talk with Jeff about some of the reasons why he came into law enforcement. So Jeff, I'll start off with the obvious. What drew you into wanting being a police officer?
But I'd have to be lying if I didn't say the benefits and retirement. You know, the job I was doing before didn't have anything. And but basically the main reason was I felt that if I could get on the road, talk to people, socialize with them, I could, you know, somewhat maybe make a difference, build a rapport with them. I was working as teacher's assistant at Lakewood Ranch High School for 2 years. Got to know a lot of, you know, adults there, the teachers, got to know a lot of the students there, built a great rapport with them, try to help them and work them through some problems that they had on, you know, at that level. Could help a little bit, but I think in law enforcement, I can help more.
Okay.
And just basically, you know, getting into law enforcement, I think I can change, you know, the outlook. That's how I feel. And change the outlook on how people feel about the badge.
What is some of the things you did prior to coming into law enforcement? You were a teacher's assistant, and what else? What is some other type of work you did prior?
I was a teacher assistant. I was a jet ski mechanic. Has no reason for, you know, in law enforcement, but I also poured concrete for about 8 years, and I found that extremely rewarding. Got a good tan, got a good workout every day.
It's sort of a good way to go to the gym outside there.
Yes.
Let me ask you about what attracts you to law enforcement in terms of what is the most rewarding aspect of your job right now?
Probably the expression on people's faces. You know, when you drive through and you go to a call and you're able to give them the information that they want, or able to give them information that actually helps them, and they basically, you know, thankful for what you've done for them, that's rewarding. Especially with going to calls with children involved, able to talk to them, pass out the stickers, building that rapport. I mean, basically, you walk away from calls feeling good about yourself.
What are some of the challenges that are kind of make it tough?
Challenges would be building that rapport with people. Kind of people have this mindset right now of cops being harassing, or anybody in law enforcement being harassing. You know, we're just out here to arrest daddy, arrest mommy, arrest my husband or my wife. Knock heads, and that's not the point. I mean, to get people to understand that we're out here to, you know, police the community, serve and protect, that's a hard thing. It's a challenge to do.
So basically, your biggest challenge is sort of changing the hearts and minds of the people's perception of what law enforcement is.
Yeah. Yes.
Great. You told me earlier that you would go into USF at night while you were, or going to USF in the day and are working, and
well, no, I went to USF at night. Also, I went to MCC prior to USF. Took night classes, worked throughout the day to pay college. You know, poured concrete throughout the day. Went to school at night, and finally, 6.5 years later, I graduated the bachelor's in criminal justice.
Very good. And you went through the academy with somebody we know very well, my co-host Rob Day, who wasn't able to be here tonight. But Jeff happened to be in the academy at the same time as Rob, so perhaps we can get some inner perspective on Rob. How did Rob fare overall?
Rob, heck of a guy. I mean, he was our class leader. He was all that. I mean, he was a leader. He's a darn good shot. Never hardly shooting a handgun before. Yeah. think he shot perfect when we were doing our firearms session. So Rob's a great guy. I mean, we could go to him. He gave us the knowledge we needed. He helped us out when we needed it. Of course, we had to help him out some too. But other than that, all around physically, shooting, you know, as far as academics, a great guy.
What were some of the challenges in the academy that you perhaps didn't think would be challenges but end up being challenges? You guys had a new curriculum. When
we had the new.
You were kind of the experimental class for that, weren't you?
Yeah, we were actually the second class under the CMS program. We were the first night class with it. Basically, what was really challenging is with the CMS seemed to be, I guess, some more book work compared to the traditional class. We did a lot more scenario-based stuff. You know, we had our own little town and city and our own little statistics of crime for that city, and it was scenario-based, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of hard to run scenarios. You know, I'm not an actor, but
yeah,
that was the biggest challenge for me.
All right.
Everything else, just from going to school, and it kind of came easy. I kind of enjoyed it.
Where do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years, 15, 20 years?
Basically, right here where I'm at.
Do you have any particular area of law enforcement you'd like to focus on?
As being like this department?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I basically see myself being here. You know, Bradenton Police Department gave me an opportunity. They accepted me. They gave me a job dedicated to them. I basically want to do all I can within the department, go to specialized units, detectives, quite possibly SWAT team, even some other units that we have out there like plainclothes. I just want to get a taste of everything in there and just get a taste of it and excel and do what I can for the department.
Very good. Well, we appreciate the inside perspective, and we'll be back on the street shortly. Stay tuned.
Being in shape is the best thing you can do. Say, you know, to help you out, it'll help other officers out. It's a great, I mean, people think it is a hard job to do. You do see a lot of things out here that you do not want to see, some things you don't want to take home to your family. I would say it is, you know, it is hard on the family, but I tell you, in the long run, and when you do go home, in my opinion, in my mind, it is rewarding, no matter what happens throughout the day. I mean, we do what we can out here to help individuals and to clean the streets. You know, there are times where it is upsetting, but I think you get more rewards out of it than you do, you know, downfalls. But with the job, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward, it's a pretty easy job. I mean, you go out there, you do your call. There's nothing hard about it. There's nothing complicated with it. Everybody looks out for each other. So if you're ever a question or any help you need at all, you always have people, especially with this department, you have people around every corner that are willing to help you out.
Problem. The only delay is going to be for traffic trying to turn north on the 48th Street Court from east or westbound. That whole section of the road blocked off.
So are you currently working the 11 to 9 shift?
Yeah, 10-4, sir. Yeah, so sorry. Hey, what's up, boss? 246, 65, 13P. Not much.
Oh, man, you did me dirty, boy.
Sam 101.
How'd I do you dirty?
You come and got me ready with a camera crew. How you know that? Run it.
Well, I'm about to run it. More interested in that right there.
Possible
I
signal
just popped the
36.
thing, man. I ain't meant to do what I owe you, man. I got to go to jail on this here?
Nah.
How many units do we have tied up in that signal?
Nah, we'll see, Lewis. You ain't going to go to jail. Come on now.
3 units total,
I know you're not drunk.
including the Tom unit.
Mary 235-530-73-3870, 1048. Also, if you have another unit, send them this way.
Oh, for me?
244, right down the street.
1049, 251 hours.
Yeah. Got all this camera out there and stuff, man.
I'm going
We're
to
good.
jail?
You're not going to jail. I'm telling you that.
Man, I ain't
HP went
telling you
97
that.
a few minutes ago.
I ain't gonna
Apparently
bolt on
they're
anyway. I was going to
trying
throw
to
my
say
hands
it's ours.
on up.
I'm
I
not
got
sure
you.
what's going to happen.
I ain't worried about it.
Excuse not to go to work.
1049, 251 hours.
Lewis, you got anything else on you? Anything else illegal? Mind if I search you?
104,
This right here, I bought for the girl right here.
Keep him in your pocket for me.
Yeah. Hey, you can search everything.
Keep your hands out of your pockets. Let me see your hands, Lewis.
Oh, go ahead.
Take your hands out. Take your hands out.
Yeah.
Just keep your hands out of the car, man.
1020 Ryan P.
That was for the girl next door. She gave me the $10 to go get it for her. Don't come get on me.
Go ahead.
Where you heading to now?
Huh?
Where you heading to now?
I was going to my cousin's house to drink a beer with him and get me a plate of food, and I was going home.
Where's your cousin living?
60,
Where's your cousin living right
I
now?
live right here, straight on this road by the Salvation Army. There ain't nothing in it, man. There's nothing.
10-4, stand by.
Mind if this officer searches you?
Yeah, go ahead. No, man. I work construction. I just got off from work.
Stand 101.
That was for a person. They told me to go get a golden package for him. You buy a golden
Also
package.
received a signal 38 on the east side in zone 2.
Yeah, not in your boots, sir.
No, you want them off?
No, sir.
I take them off.
Tom 705.
I'm not too far away from that 22. I can take 94 on that if you want to, if anyone wants to stay tonight.
10-4, stand 101, you ready?
Yeah, Brad, signal 4 off 75th Street. Was that northbound or southbound?
Keep your hands away.
Oh, thank you. You
Nah,
go.
you ain't
It's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Where you heading to?
I was going by my cousin. I get me a plate of food, and I was going.
Where's that at?
I'm at 31. At Baxter. There's a key number right there.
Airway 237.
Go 237.
Now,
Check,
just got a
hey.
truck with that.
You going to take that signal 22 on the east side?
Well,
236, I can take
I ain't did nothing. Ever since I sold the racket.
You ain't got nothing on you.
Nothing.
That's what you're telling me.
Nothing.
1094, apparently.
But you're rolling around with this bill and this soon-to-be stem.
The lady told me to go get her a golden package.
Sam 101, who's out that signal?
Golden package. And where you
Big
got? And where?
problem. I came and got a golden package for her.
You know what the
Airway 248.
Yeah, that's like
Airway
fuck,
248,
$10.
Sam 101, good
Keep
attack.
my money, shit. Yeah.
You stay 10-12 on him for a second.
I pull it out. I don't even care about
You know what that's
I know what it's used for, but I mean,
Lewis,
it's not.
Lewis, have you been in before?
What?
Have you been
Not the port.
for what?
237.
Selling delivery.
Sound delivery.
Yeah.
We're 10-4 out here on 11th Avenue. You can cancel anybody out.
What do you think you're about to deliver now?
Nothing.
Paraphernalia?
You can throw that shit away. You sell it up the store like that.
86 it. Oh, what you do? Yeah, it's just to keep. Yeah.
Yeah, I work for No, I work for Syntex. They building a new Lakewood ranch in elementary school.
All right, cool. Thanks.
See, I don't make
It stayed
much.
tight for.
Get out.
You know what? You out there trying.
You already told me
But you know what it's used
I know
for.
what it's for, but when you broke and you ain't got a damn thing in your pocket and nothing to eat, somebody say,
Hold
"I
on to
need
this for now."
$10." You go ahead and do what you got to do. But I ain't buying no dope or nothing for nobody, nothing like that.
Ain't worth the hassle, though.
I know. I just.
Excuse me.
10-4, 21 hours.
So what do we?
No, basically,
you got open container.
he's got an open container, city ordinance violation. He's walking around with an open container. As we were pulling up, he coming around the corner off 17th Ave. Saw him observed him drinking from the bottle. Basically made a consensual encounter, gather information, grabbed his ID, asked for consent to search. He gave consent to search, emptied his pockets. What you have here, where you're looking at earlier, is a Brillo pad, which they use on their stems. Drop the rock on there and they start burning the rock. That little glass piece is a future stem. They basically take those, they crack both the ends. That's what they use for a stem, to smoke the rock out of.
Okay.
So basically, you can't even do a paraphernalia on it because nothing, no residue, nothing burnt off.
Hasn't been used yet.
Yeah, exactly. So all we're going to do is a city ordinance violation. He is under arrest. It's going to be a simple notice to appear, give him a court date, and release him. So, you know, This is where you use officer discretion. Some guy's got alcohol in the streets. You can let them go. You can't, might let them go, might not. But give them a court date, maybe a fine, basically just because it deters him a little bit or kind of hurts him in the pocket from doing his habit.
So this will be like a ticket type thing.
Basically, yes, sir. I'm gonna keep the Brillo. You don't need that.
Probably about
Whoever you're taking it to don't need that.
with True Luck and somebody
You'll
else.
dump out the Hurricane for me right here. You'll take that and put it in the trash yourself. And you can take the other one that's closed. And you can take that to wherever you want to need to take it.
Just some good stuff.
All right? Yeah, I'm good. 31. It's empty.
David at 11.
You need to take it with you to the trash can. Carry it with you.
1009 3rd Street.
The city ordinance we go off of 6-4, possession and consumption of alcohol. Will possession mean the opening of the container within 300 feet of a store that sells it? 6-5 is possession or consumption, whether the bottle's open or not in a city park. 2780 is consumption, or even if the container is open on a city road or sidewalk, is a violation. .246.
Give me another tape ready.
You can close me off my 13P Frank Ida FI.
10-4.
Basically going to a traffic crash now, running 1018, these lights and sirens because there is entrapment and possible injury.
So this is a situation, this is the city's jurisdiction, correct? But it's,
Yes, sir.
will FHP do any of the traffic, or do you guys all do it yourself?
Well, if this turns into being the city's jurisdiction, we'll handle everything ourselves.
Okay.
Traffic control, investigation,